Well, for years, liberal cities and states have been claiming the right to ignore federal immigration law. Now, one small-town police chief in Washington state is saying the same principle can be applied to far-reaching gun laws. A new gun control ordinance in Washington imposes stricter background checks, raises the age for buying a semi-automatic rifle, and allows gun owners to be criminally prosecuted if their firearms are stolen and then used illegally. Loren Culp is the police chief of Republic, Washington, and says that he wants his town to be a sanctuary from these new gun laws. Some local residents oppose the new measure in Washington. Watch.
Opponents say it forces gun owners to secure them in a way that could put them in danger.
I'm concerned at not being able to access my gun when I need it.
You're not going to tell the criminal, can you hold on a moment, because we have a law that I have to, safely store it in the garage somewhere, and so can you hold on a moment? I'm going to go take it and I'm going to defend myself. Then we'll talk.
You call the police or things go down, it's less than 1 minute. So those seconds count.
Police Chief Loren Culp joins us tonight by Skype. Chief, thanks very much for coming on. It's good to see you.
Good evening, Tucker. Thanks for having me.
So is this, in effect, a sanctuary, your town, Republic, Washington, from the gun laws of your state?
I have suggested an ordinance and recommended it to the City Council, and they are in the process of reviewing that and doing their due diligence to see if they want to pass that. But as far as the police department goes, we will not be enforcing that.
So cities that have decided to ignore federal immigration law have received the applause and support of almost everyone on the American left. What do you think the response will be if your town passes this ordinance?
I don't think the same people would be very happy. But the thing about it is illegal immigrants aren't covered by the Bill of Rights in the Constitution, and gun owners are.
A very good point. So what will happen next, do you think? Will the governor of the state try and force you to enforce the law that you think is unconstitutional?
Well, I don't know how he could, Tucker, because we live in a constitutional republic, contrary to what a lot of people tell us, that we live in a democracy. But we have the rule of law in this state and across the United States, and the Constitution is the law of the land. And everybody knows what the Second Amendment says. A lot of your viewers might not know what the Washington State Constitution says about firearms. But really quickly, it says the right of the individual citizen to bear arms in defense of himself or the state shall not be impaired. So that's even more explicit than the Second Amendment. So I don't know how they can get around that and try to force me to go against my oath of office to uphold that.
Interesting. I had no idea your state's constitution said that. It sounds like it's being already ignored throughout the state of Washington. So very quickly, this state law would require gun owners to keep their guns locked up at all times?
It requires you to keep it locked up because if someone gains access to your gun, say you're away from home and someone breaks into your home and steals your gun, goes out and commits a crime with it, you can be charged up to a felony for that person getting your gun and committing a crime with it. It's absolutely ridiculous.
If someone steals
like
your car,
charging someone who has their car stolen and the person drives off and goes through a crowd of people. It's ridiculous.
Well, that is ridiculous, and good for you for fighting back against it. Chief Culp, thank you very much for coming on and explaining that.
Tucker, I have a real quick message for you, though.
Yes.
Ted and Shemaine Nugent told me to tell you hi.
Always a welcome message, especially on a Friday. Thank you. Thank you, Chief. Good to see you.
Good night. Thank you.
Well, there's no war on Christmas. That's like some right-wing trope that only dumb people believe. Meanwhile, the war on Christmas